those small projects that gets used every day. I wanted a place for mail to land that wasn't the kitchen counter, so I made this ruffled fabric envelope for our family command center. I searched Pinterest for inspiration, but didn't find exactly what I needed, so I designed something simple myself. It's not perfect, and there were definitely a few bumps along the way, but I love how it turned out and wanted to share the process in case you're looking for something similar to add to your space. I'll list all the supplies you'll need on the screen so you can pause and screenshot. You will need the PDF pattern for this project. This is actually the first sewing pattern I've ever digitized, which is part of why there's been a longer gap between my videos. With past projects, I could get away with sharing measurements, but this one includes a triangle and a pentagon, and I didn't want to put you through drawing all of that, so I finally sat down and figured out how to make a PDF pattern. It honestly took a lot longer than I anticipated. Between work and running our household, the pattern came together in very small pockets of time. There was scaling and tracing and print testing, lots of print testing. I wanted to make sure I had the design to scale first, and then I added the seam allowances in Illustrator and reprinted. After that, when I was assembling the pattern, I noticed that it would be a lot easier to piece the pattern together with guidelines all the way around the paper edges. So I reprinted for that. And once I had all of the print tests done, I still had to figure out how to actually distribute the pattern. It felt like one really long side quest, but I'm really grateful to have learned this process. I've linked the pattern in the description below. Printing and assembling is the first step before we begin. Once you have your pattern printed and all cut out, use it to cut your fabric pieces. In total, you'll have 2 back fabric pieces, 4 triangle pieces, and 5 ruffle strips in 3 different sizes. And now it's time to quilt your fabric. If you've never quilted before, it's fairly simple. I always cut my batting a little bit larger than the fabric piece I'm quilting just in case there's any shifting. I use a heat erasable pen to draw a line down the center of the fabric. You can also use chalk or a washable fabric marker, and then I sew a straight stitch down the marked line. From there, I use the quilt bar on my sewing machine to space each line evenly. If you don't have a quilt guide, you can simply draw all of your lines as you did the first one. That's what I used to do before getting a quilt guide, and it works just as well. My quilting lines for this project are spaced a ½ inch apart, but of course you can space yours however you prefer or whatever design you prefer. I quilted both back pieces in case I ever decide not to hang this on the wall anymore. That way the back part of the envelope will still look cute too. I also quilted 2 of the triangle pieces. One thing to keep in mind is that the triangle pieces face different directions in the finished project, so you'll want to quilt them according to the direction the top of the envelope will face. I didn't think about this at first, and one of my quilted triangles ended up facing downward, And I mean, I could have fixed it, but I actually like the contrast, so I decided to keep it that way. I like sharing the full process because I'm a very visual learner and I always struggle with tutorials that skip steps. So I've included the entire quilting portion here if you'd like to watch it all the way through. I've also added timestamps though, so you can easily skip ahead if you prefer. Once the top two triangles are quilted, pair each one with an unquilted triangle. Clip them right sides together and sew around the edges using a 1/2 inch seam allowance, leaving a small gap for turning. Make sure the gap is not on the diagonal edge because we want the gap to line up with a seam that will be top stitched later. Then you can turn your triangles right side out, poke out the corners, and press. Now it's time to make the ruffles. First, fold each ruffle strip in half lengthwise with right sides together. Sew the short ends using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Turn right sides out, poke out the corners, and press. Sew a straight stitch along the raw edge at a 1/4 inch seam allowance to gather and create the ruffle. I don't have a ruffle foot, so my favorite technique to gather fabric is to hold the thread at the top of my machine, just enough to create the tension I need to gather the fabric. There are many techniques to ruffle fabric though, this is just the one that works best and quickest for me. In the end, you should have 5 ruffles, one piece for each side of the bottom of your envelope. Lay the ruffles on top of the top facing back piece, aligning the raw edges. Pin and baste in place. This is another spot where I will note that I made a small mistake. I didn't cut my ruffles quite wide enough, so you may notice that I pinned them about a 1/4 of an inch in from the edge. I've adjusted the measurements in the pattern though, so you won't need to do this. Next, place the 2 backing pieces right sides together with the ruffles sandwiched in between. Sew around the edges using a 1/2 inch seam allowance, leaving a gap for turning. Be mindful of where the ruffles are at the corners though, it's very easy to accidentally sew one into the seam. Then you can turn your envelope right sides out, poke out the corners, and press flat. Line up the triangle flaps on the back piece and top stitch the triangles in place to finish the envelope. This was honestly the trickiest part of the project for me. In some areas, you're stitching through multiple layers of fabric and batting. A walking foot made this part much easier. It's not essential, but it does keep the layers moving evenly and made feeding everything through much smoother. You can absolutely do this with a regular foot. It just takes a bit more patience and small adjustments along the way. I nudged one of the triangles slightly after sewing part of it down to reduce bulk, and this made the bottom triangle a bit loose, so I added a short stitch near the point to tack it down. You don't really notice it unless you're looking for it, and I'm happy with how it turned out. This project definitely had more bumps along the way than I am usually willing to share. I tend to hold back when something looks a little too handmade like this, and I'm very hard on myself with my projects, but I don't know if it's just that I'm feeling so worn down by the idea that everything has to be flawless and aesthetically perfect, or if it's the fact that there's just this huge push for AI around us nowadays that it just makes the little bumps in the details actually admirable to me in a way. I don't know. If you're still here, please like and subscribe and leave a comment below to boost the channel. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you'll join me in the next one.